Ladies and gentlemen, I think this moment to me is such a fulfilling moment where we're trying to awaken the engineers. The engineers that have listened to a number of people in the media, in social media, and everywhere, claiming our space. Some of them now are called energy experts. We just see, and when they explain a technical concept, they are so high level, it's not funny. But because the unnoticing journalist also does not poke into the details, some of the things that they have said are facts today. We have a situation where there's a court case. I laughed when I saw the judgment, where the judge made an order that the schools, hospitals, and prisons must be excluded from load shedding. I just laughed. I'm like, yeah, this is nice money for guys who are in construction, electrical, because now we have to really create another network that will feed all these infrastructures. And I wonder if government has money for it. And it's part of those kind of mistakes that happens that even before the case was put forward, I think engineers should have been there and say, guys, what you're advocating for is quite noble, but practically is not implementable. And we discuss at technical level what is the best way that can be done. And but we are where we are, and there's a lot of cost that has been suffered by our government because we are not there. We are not there, and we are trying to awaken you into that space. So, Zwa, you run my slides. I will talk a little bit about ELP, the reason why we are formed, which is part of my preamble. We are a not-for-profit company, or NPO, and our members is practicing engineers. By that, I mean including the technician. I would rather say engineering practitioners, because in our forum I've had people trying to discriminate against each other, which I think we should not even go there. Including qualified technicians, technologists, and engineers. However, surely it cannot be just that. We need to extend a student chapter, which then becomes a pipeline of engineers. If we really want to grow the organization and build a pool of engineers that will assist in our vision to be the solution provider for the development of Southern Africa and beyond, we will need quite a number of engineers that will come on board and also assist in the development. I've mentioned that we are awakening and mobilizing our engineers to get into the space and also to be involved in engineering matters. Guys, it is a shame that at Treasury, all the mega projects that get approved at Treasury by the SOCs or the government entities and others, I don't know how many engineers are there and are involved whenever a recommendation has been sent there. In many cases, if then there is a financial thinking or financially lean thinking in such documents that are brought to them, the likelihood is that the cheapest guy will be a better guy. And there may be even a better technology that costs a little bit more, but is more viable, it's more, and it could last longer, and it's the technology that can save us better. But because we are also not there, such mistakes do take place. There are technologies in the country that some of them have become white elephant. And I can assure you that engineers were not there in those decision making. And again, we want to interface and interface and work with other organizations, surely we will not be able to eat. We will not be able to eat this elephant alone. In some cases, we need to strategically partner with others in order to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And we need to support also others. At some point, we must allow ourselves to be led by others, but remain at the helm so that all these technical inputs that are required to achieve certain things are provided by the qualified people in the space. And one of the things that we've been advocating in our forum is that you cannot throw the problem and run away. I've seen many people say, hey, government, renewables are bad, government didn't do that, we need to be in the inner circle of government and everything, and then you leave it and then you run away. And the question is, what is the solution? What should we do? We should be solution-driven as an organization. We should be, as an engineers, provide proposals, provide business cases, and really fight to get those proposals to be approved or get a buy-in. Be it the powers that be don't listen, but there are many other ways that you can achieve implementation of solutions even without politicians. And you can partner with technology partners, you can bring in quite a lot of people that are interested to expand into Africa. I've traveled quite a number of countries, and you will be in the middle of America and you speak to companies that, I once spoke to a company that is in aviation. They're making crazy stuff for ground handling equipment that load the aeroplanes and stuff like that. And you speak to the guys, I never thought of going to Africa. But if we can partner and somebody can assist us to establish on the other side, we are more than keen to expand our technologies to go that side. And there are many others. There are many in many facets and in different places. So these solutions, guys, it may not that we need to reinvent the wheel. It may not be that we need to, awaken old obsolete solutions and make them practical now. It may be just because we just need to think of a strategy on how we can put them forward. And engineers need to be looking and sniffing everywhere to be able to apply those and assist our country. Just a little bit about our profile as engineering forum. Not everybody is registered. Currently we're sitting close to 800 members of engineers, but of the 333 that have registered in our registration link, we took liberty to just analyze our profile. When you look at our profile, you're literally seeing that all the disciplines are represented. The scope that we can cover touches from one end to the other end. The only one that I did not see, which I think many people that are not engineers like claiming, is sound engineering. we've seen quite a lot of sound engineers and stuff. So I was in Durban, ICC, and I'm sitting right in front in one of the conferences, and the sound switches off mysteriously. Whatever happened, I don't know. And the program director stands up and he said, "No, we'll call our sound engineer to fix it." And this guy arrives. He's my homeboy. I'm like, fuck, this guy only has grade 12. This guy only has grade 12. And there is no way he's a sound engineer. So they claim we are in a profession where everybody can claim it, can become an engineer, and but you will never find a nurse becoming a doctor, and they respect the lines there. Looking further is qualification by numbers. I will think we are quite you know, we are quite an educated group of engineers that we have even professors in our midst, the PhDs. This may just be the representation of half of the group, and we could be having more. And accreditations, PRH, we could start a plant from beginning up until the end, and we sign it off and then move forward. And we have such people that are highly qualified. It is sometimes quite disappointing when they say we don't have engineers in South Africa. And that message has resonated with the formation of ELP because of that as well. To say, where are engineers? We need to have. Nice one. Where's the sound engineer? Yeah. We need to have our own being represented and in the eyes of the leadership, so that we don't get such comments where even people say we are not there. We have almost 800, and I can bet EXA in their database they have way more. But how does it happen that somebody can come to a conclusion that engineers are not there? The only reason is that we don't speak, we don't get involved in engineering matters, and even if somebody is wrong, you'll get a WhatsApp with, hey, this energy expert is saying transmission lines will blow. Did you hear? Even the use of words. It's like, this guy cannot be an energy expert, there is no way. So, but we're talking to each other and we leave it at that. We don't even challenge it to correct the situation. And we're not like that. So guys, we need to stand up. The last one is looking at the experience across industries. We are experienced from aviation to telecoms, infrastructure, municipalities, mining, water. The only thing that maybe, I wouldn't say we can't build a nuclear bomb, but I think the skill is there, because the nuclear bomb, from the nuclear power generation, the only difference between a nuclear bomb and the power generation is that you take out the control rods out of the reactor and you have a nice bomb there, because that reaction is no longer controlled. As simplified as that, but we're not there. We shouldn't do that, guys. Don't quote me wrongly. But in the main is that, ladies and gentlemen, we have highly experienced people, and we just need to put this experience to practice. We need not to just stay in the back seats and watch other disciplines making decisions that we should be making. The blue line shows the most experienced person in that particular industry according to the grouping. And the orange line shows the average, the experience, the average experience within the group. So in the main, we have people that on average now cutting across just above 15 years of engineering experience within our midst. And this experience is quite sizable if you've been practicing within the engineering fraternity. And I think we are misrepresenting ourselves. And therefore, that is why I'm asking that we need to stand up and claim the space once more. Our immediate action, as an organization and as a block of engineers, one other thing that we need to deal with is that we need to advocate for an engineer general. The issue of an engineer general is quite critical. You have an auditor general, you have a statistics general, you have a surveyor general, but there is no engineer general. Think from pre-feasibility up until commissioning and handover. Who is responsible to make people accountable whenever the engineering design was flawed, whenever whenever things go wrong after the design. We need our own engineer general. Auditor general in the main, they come right at the end of the project and they say, you know, it's not a clean audit and it's all of that, but it's right at the end. Damage has already been done, it's monies that have been lost. It's things that we should have avoided right at the beginning. So engineer general must come in right in front for certain size projects where an engineer general mega projects need to be reported to the engineer general. He must look at the process that has been followed to arrive at the solutions that are applied in that particular space. And he must sign off. After the engineer, he must then sign off from the beginning. And we keep the drawings. You go to the surveyor general, the level of information that they keep, it's amazing. You go to a power station and you're looking for drawings sometimes, and you can't find some. Many of the plants, it's not that they were never there, but they are not kept properly. But an engineer general needs to be custodian of certain things that will protect the country from being, let's say, over the years, if you don't archive certain information in a safer space, in a safer way, they get lost and you can't run certain things. Statutory, according to the OSH Act, is that all plants, you must keep the drawings at the substation are more electrical. At the substation, and also you must keep it at the document control for access by any other person that will need to access that, but authorized person, not any other. Authorized person that might need access to that. They get lost over time. And we are saying not just the drawings, but also taking control of the engineering practices that are being applied when we are building our infrastructure. And one of the glaring problems that we saw is in Durban during the floods. There were a lot of sinkholes that the floods exposed. And you wonder what happens during the surveying, whether these were not seen. There were other infrastructure that fell, and you always wonder as well whether were they designed for up to what safety margin for severe weather. And the engineer general must be able to pull a file and say, we did all we can, this was godly control, it's force majeure or whatever, and then we can be, we can look away from it. But if it's not, then people must account how did the structures fall. Similarly, the issue of the Greystone Bridge. Who knows anything about that report? Huh? The engineer general should be able to satisfy himself that the practices that were done there were above board, and whatever happens there, such a report, an engineer general must either approve or deal with the people that killed 2 people in that incident. And there are many other examples I can draw that are happening. Busile and made to be almost 2 times or 3 times the cost of the original project. What happened there? Did we choose the technology that was proper for us, or we just adopted certain technologies that were first of a kind in the country and were guinea pigs? And therefore, certain things we're still tweaking and trying to make them work at the cost of the country. We need protection, and engineer general need to be dealing also with such issues at technical level, not political level. Where do we house the engineer general? For me, I don't care. But you can either house an engineer general as a Chapter 9 institution, but it will take long because Chapter 9 institutions are, need to be in the constitution, and you must update the constitution. It will take years. but you can house in the meantime within Public Works or Copter for the ball to start rolling, and whilst we're waiting for the Chapter 9 institution to be formed. Is something that we must have. Another crisis that we are facing, ladies and gentlemen, is that the pipeline of engineers is lost and is roaming around with degrees and diplomas and Bachelor of Technologies. They don't get internships or experiential learning. It's quite sad. I do in Bergville a career guidance to high school learners, and I'm one of the presenters in engineering amongst the disciplines that we cover. And we've pushed quite a number of learners to take engineering. My stomach cringes when they say, yeah, I've completed, I'm an industrial engineer from VETS, but I'm looking for work. I've been at home for over 18 months and I'm looking, and then quite a number of them. I'm not saying ELP can solve those problems, but we have small businesses amongst ourselves, and you may not be able to cover the entire scope of the training of the engineer. But she is in design, Nhlanhla is in design. You can take 3 or 4 engineers, expose them in design, and then after a certain timeline, you phone Maphalala, hey Maphalala, now I've exposed them in design and we are in project management, can I rotate them to you? And from that project management, once they are exposed there, I say, Tsepo Mahlaba, you are in maintenance, can you expose them in maintenance? And we rotate them like that, but we take a little bit at a time and they rotate in various, our small companies, and we can chew a little bit of this problem, even though we can't solve it altogether. You can go build institutions and we try Sasol to help us and everything, but guys, if we don't help our own, no one will sympathize with us. And these engineers, these coming engineers, all of a sudden you find them being bank tellers, being tellers at restaurants, being waiters and all of that. We don't want to lose them. And I think one initiative is to start and talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, to say, please let's look into this. Tolo Sejake, who's leading the Committee on Training and Development, will be reaching out to some of you on this program that we want to start implementing it as from next year. You just take 3. And there are a lot of programs within government where they even pay for companies that are taking internships or provide grants for those companies. So it's a matter of just how do we manage it and who wants to become part of such programs. And another big problem, this one affected me directly as well, is the academic curriculum and the alignment with the industry needs. We have Professor Majosi, who we have tasked with his committee to look into this closely. That you find what is being taught in our institution is not what is immediately required by the industry. And there's a serious mismatch that every time you employ an engineer, you still have to train for at least 18 months to 2 years so that you can be able to start delivering on your needed key areas that you are delivering on. One of the problems is that there's misalignment there. We need engineers that will arrive at the companies and be able to deliver immediately after their induction. We went to China at some point with a friend where he had a broken phone and he tried to send it to Vodaworld, and Vodaworld said, I can't help you. I cannot help you, but you'll have to leave this phone and you'll get it in 2 weeks' time. And he said, this is my operating phone, and at the time, this was around 2014. This is my operating phone, I cannot leave it here, then I rather work with it the way it is. And it so happened that we went to China. In the street on the road, you see that broken English, fix phone, fixed phone is sitting like a street vendor on the road. And you give it to him, within 5 minutes he has fixed it. Change the screen, change everything, right there and there. And here we don't have that. We need to build such capacity that even with their hands, our engineers, technicians, and technologists should be able to do the basic stuff that, as they come from university, that will assist in the development. There is a big issue where in our executive committee we say, this is a big ask, and we must not try and do things that could be beyond us. And we say, but we need to start. We need to start somewhere. The issue of the alternative or parallel economy is engineers that can drive it. By that we mean there are still quite a number of opportunities in South Africa where you can build new economy and be able to run with it. Ministers go and stand and say South Africa is a water scarce country. I hate that statement. South Africa is a water scarce country, we are a dry country and everything. They say that with conviction. And one engineer also mentioned this in one of our group. And I said, this is what I hate. Israel at some point was a desert. But Israel today is abundance of water. South Africa is 75% engulfed by the sea. We have Atlantic Ocean on that side and we have Indian Ocean. 75%. Our university should be fested with research on how can you desalinate cheaper and how can you transport water from from the coastal region to the to inland cheaper. And we have that water and we can utilize it. How did Israel survive? We need to be fixated with ways of trying to utilize this water. Think about the ocean economy. In general, there is very little that is being done in the people are talking ocean economy and everything, and they think so small. We can rekindle and create a new economy there. If we are 75% engulfed by the sea, you don't even have a maritime university where you are training your shipbuilders, you are training even the guys that maintain the ship as they arrive in big numbers. I don't know which duck is there. I know there's an issue with water and stuff like that. And once you start talking about, hey, those are belongs. But we need to break this cocoon and be able to really get into these spaces. There is an opportunity there. And there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot that we can do. But I've identified the ocean economy as a new economy that we can get into. You go to Singapore and look and see how they are controlling in their harbor, when the containers come there. The scanning of the containers, they scan almost 100% of those containers. We scan in 5%. And then you say, no, there is crime, there is contraband goods that are coming into the country, there is fake from China and everything, but you are not controlling at the source. If you're not controlling anything at the source, these things will come into the country and the problems will forever be there. And then the last two issues that I want to talk about is that as the ESCO, we're still in process of creating as many processes and the systems as we can as an organization. And that is still ongoing. And also, guys, we've asked for a lot of position papers, and we've asked for people that sound as subject matter experts in various technical issues. We need more people that will be able to write, to respond to the issues, and also give insight to other engineers. And we must be the producers of content in the space. And we are asking for engineers. I know writing an article or writing a paper takes a long time, but if you can sacrifice in a month at least just 2 days, you don't have to be 2 consecutive days, but 2 days of your time combined in terms of your time, and be able to just give us those things. We've got Lurueng here, a guru in oil and gas, fuels and all of those things. But we want to start seeing him writing his experiences there, how things can be changed there, how we can penetrate and develop our own in that particular space. And we can't be quiet and just let others occupy the space without us. My last slide, ladies and gentlemen, as an organization, is that one of the key things that will help us take off smoothly is that we need to be active out there, and we need you need funding to be able to get everywhere. How we managed to put this summit together is a mystery, and thank you to the team, Valerie, Biliseni, and Ernest, where you start digging deep into your pockets to make things happen. And it will be like that as long as this organization exists, that you will need funding, and we need an administration office where whenever people are looking to get in touch with us, they will get a PA that will attend to them and also deal with administration issues on behalf of the organization. There are strategic events that we need to be part of. BRICS Summit is coming to South Africa in August. ELP must be represented there. Be it we have a stand there, and we tell our BRICS partners that, look, we have a pool of engineers that are experienced in this plethora of areas, and we are able to assist you. We should not be having a situation where BRIC partners come with their own engineers, and we are not participating in the programs. Mining and energy industry, we need to be participating there. We need to kill this message that we don't have technical people in the country. And by so doing, we are even saying to those that come from outside, we are here and these are our experiences. We need more volunteers, guys. We need more hands on the deck, even in development of our processes and systems. We would like you to participate. Our website, if you look at it, there is now a formal membership to join the organization, and we will need some subscription from there. If in that subscription will not be enough, we'll have to top it up with some sponsorship. And once we are at that stage, we become then a credible organization that we have screened our members. Is this person a proper engineer? Is he qualified? What experience does he have, etc., etc., so that we are not questioned at a later stage that Dr. Moyo has spoken all over the world and we say, we want to question your PhD. Can we go back and check which institution you did it and stuff like that? We're having a lot of such problems. But we want to be able to have engineers that are engineers within our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry I took long. It's the passion that I have around ELP and also around the mobilizing of the engineers to start taking their space in engineering matters. These are just snippets of what we are about. There is a whole lot, even the topics that we are seeing there. It's just a snippet for the launch and for the summit. However, we still have a whole lot more to say about water, the running of the municipalities, and everything. As I was driving here, SAFM was saying Eburuleni will be shutting water for the weekend because of maintenance. And I'm like, yeah, but why don't you have dual redundancy in that line? How can you suffocate people on water? Eh? How was this whole thing designed in the first place? And these are the problems we need to start solving. But you solve that during construction time. You solve that, an engineer general would have asked, but what will happen when we are maintaining this particular water line? And maybe a dual redundancy would have made sense. Be it it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it saves the people. Water is a constitutional right to the people. And now they will be drinking water from water tankers for the whole weekend. God knows where that water would have come from. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. But I hope I've managed to energize you right enough that you're going to stand up and really we run this organization together and we occupy the space in the best way we can. Thank you.